Come True is directed by Anthony Scott Burns and stars Julia Sarah Stone and Landon Liboiron. Julia plays the role of Sarah as a runaway teenager who has trouble sleeping and is in dire need of sleep. Due to unknown reasons and unexplained reasons, she is unable to sleep at home, so she spends much of the night sleeping outside or at times at a friend's house and essentially getting by through the day through several cups of coffee. So one day she sees an ad for a sleep study architected by Jeremy, who is played by Landon Liboiron, at the local university and sets off to participate in said study to have a place to get a proper rest. And as you might have guessed, things don't exactly go as they should, and it's all downhill from there. Already during the first session of the study, she's met with very vague answers or none at all whenever she inquires about the goal of the study or anything remotely related to it. She does, however, eventually get to know that the scientists have come up with a way to read the brain waves and thus can peek into the dreams and record those dreams, specifically nightmares, which Sarah has lots of. Now, without going into spoilers, the line between reality and dreams gets blurry at times, and the entity that these scientists see in these recorded dreams is what they call a unified fear, and it plays a central role in the plot. Now, the premise of the film is great. The exploration of the world of dreams and touching on themes and experiences most of us have had, like sleep paralysis, has a great setup, but unfortunately it falls short of anything grand. Now, the unified fear that these scientists are recording seem to be the same across all the subjects that are going through the study, which is understandable given the setup of the film that they needed something universal, but they could have at least personalized it with characters involved, like their backgrounds, perhaps. But instead, it just blends together, and every dream sequence that we see feels more or less the same across all the subjects. And this sort of brings me to my biggest issue with the film, and which is the lack of actualization of any of the fears, nightmares, or even dangers that the characters face. Like every build up and every scene that you think will result in towards something bigger or just flattens out monotonously. There's a scene early on where they're recording the dreams of two of the subjects and they're experiencing sleep paralysis. And you see in the recording that this entity is appearing, and everything in the scene builds up to something, but eventually it just falls short. Nothing happens, and it just leaves you highly unsatisfied and confused. Now, that is for the horror part of the film. The other aspects of the film that I found weird are mostly in the mid and second part of the film. There's an element of romance thrown in to the mix between Sarah and Jeremy, and it is just awkwardly played out and feels weird and out of place. There's a scene which seems to have been an afterthought from the director to be added where Sarah must explicitly state that she's 18 for what is to come in the next scene between the two. Yeah, so the entire relationship just seems very odd and out of place and doesn't even play a role in the entirety of the plot. Now, near the end of the film, there's some great scenes that will keep you hooked up, but again, it falls just short of delivering anything satisfying. One particular scene, which stretches several minutes of Sarah sleepwalking while wearing the equipment for the sleep study, points at something is about to happen and it's got you invested and it's building up towards something or a turning point. But again, it ends up with a very unsatisfying ending and just leaves it at that. This is an inherent fault of the film, with the first half building up and the second half not knowing what to do with the build up or with the characters. So near the end, it points to several different things that could have happened, and you would expect there would have been a fitting ending, like exploring the entities that they see in these recorded dreams, or the emotional trauma of Sarah and the nightmares she's been having. But instead, it ends in a highly disappointing point that leaves you not only unsatisfied but also betrayed. As for the visuals and audio, they're stunning. Hands down, the visuals of the film are one of the strongest points for me. It has that green, bluish tint that you see in old monitors, which I think goes very well with the plot. And the equipment they have to wear during this study is very retro designed. Much of the film's music is very 80s synthwave, and the dreamlike sequences with the entities that they see is also very visually appealing, very low key chilling, actually. Burns touches on some very interesting topics, but disappoints to give anything insightful in any of them, whether it be the scientific methods portrayed in the film, the ethics of the scientist, the world of dreams, or even the sci fi aspect of it. Nevertheless, it is an okay film to watch, and if not for the plot, definitely for the audio and visuals. All things considered, I'll give the film a 3 out of 6.